Winnie the Pooh by A. Milne. Chapter 3, in which Pooh and Piglet go hunting and nearly catch a woozle. One fine winter's day, when Piglet was brushing away the snow in front of his house, he happened to look up, and there was Winnie the Pooh. Pooh was walking around and round in a circle, thinking of something else, and when Piglet called to him, he just went on walking. "Hello," said Piglet. "What are you doing?" "Hunting," said Pooh. "Hunting what?" "Tracking something," said Winnie the Pooh very mysteriously. "Tracking what?" said Piglet, coming closer. "That's just what I ask myself. I ask myself, what? What do you think you'll answer?" "I shall have to wait until I catch up with it," said Winnie the Pooh. "Now, look here." He pointed to the ground in front of him. "What do you see there?" "Tracks," said Piglet. "Paw marks." He gave a little squeak of excitement. "Oh, Pooh, do you think it's a woozle?" "It may be," said Pooh. "Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. You never can tell with paw marks." With these few words he went on tracking, and Piglet, after watching him for a minute or two, ran after him. Winnie the Pooh had come to a sudden stop, and was bending over the tracks in a puzzled sort of way. "What's the matter?" asked Piglet. "It's a very funny thing," said Bear, "but there seem to be two animals now. This, whatever it was, has been joined by another, whatever it is, and the two of them are now proceeding in company. Would you mind coming with me, Piglet, in case they turn out to be hostile animals?" Piglet scratched his ear in a nice sort of way, and said that he had nothing to do until Friday, and would be delighted to come, in case it really was a woozle. "You mean in case it was two woozles," said Winnie the Pooh, and Piglet said anyhow he had nothing to do until Friday, so they went off together. Suddenly, Winnie the Pooh stopped and pointed excitedly in front of him. "Look!" "What?" said Piglet, with a jump. And then, not to show that he hadn't been frightened, he jumped up and down once or twice in an exercising sort of way. "The tracks," said Pooh. "A third animal has joined the other two." "Pooh!" cried Piglet. "Do you think it's another woozle?" "No," said Pooh, "because it makes different marks. It is either two woozles in one, as it might be, wizzle or two, as it might be, wizzles in one, if so it is, woozle. Let us continue to follow them." So they went on, feeling just a little anxious now, in case the three animals in front of them were of hostile intent. There were four animals in front of them. "Do you see, Piglet? Look at the tracks. Three, as it were, woozles, and one, as it was, wizzle. Another woozle has joined them." And so it seemed to be. There were the tracks, crossing over each other there, getting muddled up with each other here, but, quite plainly, every now and then, the tracks of four sets of paws. "I think," said Piglet, when he had licked the tip of his nose, "I think that I have just remembered something. I have just remembered something that I had forgotten to do yesterday, and shan't be able to do tomorrow." "We'll do it this afternoon." "I'll come with you," said Pooh. "It isn't the sort of thing you can do in the afternoon," said Piglet quickly. "It's a very particular morning thing that has to be done in the morning, and if possible, between the hours of, what would you say the time was?" "About 12, said Winnie the Pooh, looking at the sun. between, as I was saying, the hours of 12 and 12:05. So, really, dear old Pooh, if you'll excuse me, what's that? Pooh looked up at the sky, and then, as he heard the whistle again, he looked up into the branches of a big oak tree, and then he saw a friend of his. "It's Christopher Robin," he said. "Ah, then you'll be all right," said Piglet. "You'll be quite safe with him. Goodbye." And he trotted off home as quickly as he could, very glad to be out of danger again. Christopher Robin came slowly down the tree. "Silly old bear," he said, "what were you doing? First you went round the tree twice by yourself, and then Piglet ran after you, and you went round again together, and then you were just going around a fourth time." "Wait a moment," said Winnie the Pooh, holding his paw. He sat down and thought, in the most thoughtful way he could think. Then he fitted his paw into one of the tracks, and then he scratched his nose twice and stood up. "Yes," said Winnie the Pooh. "I see now," said Winnie the Pooh. "I have been foolish and deluded, and I am a bear of no brain at all." "You're the best bear in all the world," said Christopher Robin soothingly. "Am I?" said Pooh hopefully, and then he brightened up suddenly. "Anyhow," he said, "it is nearly lunchtime." So he went home for it. Thank you. Take care.